you know, we talked about fundamentals, we talked about V skills, V triggers, we talked about defense, offense, but now we're going to talk about my thought process. A lot of people want to know my thought process on how to pick a character. What about the different archetypes in the games? Just because like I'm known to play fighting games and learn them really fast because of the experience I have obtained just playing fighting games, right? So we're gonna talk about the thought process, which is really nice. So thought process of how I look at character, like so we're gonna use Ryu as an example, right? Like I wouldn't really use Ryu as my character, but because we've been using Ryu for the whole time, we're gonna show Ryu, right? Ryu has projectile. Projectiles are always nice to have, right? So I like the projectiles. Now, well, like what besides the projectile, what else do you need? An anti-air, right? Different anti-air. So obviously you have crouching heavy punches and anti-air, which is really good, right? But does my character have a special move anti-air which does more damage? Sure you can, right? More mainly we call it a DP, pretty much dragon uppercut, right? So that's also really nice to have, right? Now, does my character have a cross up? I like having like mobility options, right? So having a cross up is always nice. Not every character has cross ups, so like Balrog, for example, he's known to never have a cross up. So that's gonna be a limitation, right? So cross ups are nice. Now, what about like little fast normals? Can I cancel little fast normals into special moves just for defensive purposes? Obviously, we know when there's fake pressure along, you want to have fast buttons to like kind of like punish your opponent. And what about mid-range moves like the crouching medium punch, right? From Ryu, Ryu's crouching medium punch is really good, right? You can hit confirm it, right? Where you can visually see it on hit or block to see should I cancel into a fireball or a Tantu, which is really nice. Crouching medium kick is the same way, but it's also low, really far range low normal, and then you're able to cancel that into like a special move. Those are always nice to have, right? Now, what about like big damage combos? Does my unique like command normals give me options to combo into like big damage combos scenarios? Right? It's an advancing normal which gives me really big combos into just like big damage. Right? That's a really big thing that Ryu can do. A lot of Ryu's like to do shimmies with it, with the forward heavy punch. Right? So that's something a good example for like big damage on power opportunities in that scenario. So that's always super nice. Now let's talk about like, okay, how good is my character's V triggers, right? That's another thing you want to think about. Is my character's V trigger really strong? Does it have comeback potential, right? So that's something I also look at as well, like because the V trigger is going to be different for every character. Every character will have different V triggers. And now we're looking at about throws. How good is my throw? How far does the throw leave me? Because some characters' throws, it'll leave them right next to them, where you can start like a frame trap or go for another throw or go for a shimmy. While some other characters, when they throw you, it kind of sends you across the screen. So there's two different type of throws that you want to think about. Like, do I want to keep the pressure going through, or do I want them far away from me throws, right? And now let's talk about different archetypes in the characters, right? We're gonna go to the character select screen, and then I'm gonna select. There's a lot of characters in the game, right? And I'm gonna probably pretty much like point to like what type of archetypes are within the game. Obviously, Ryu is like a very balanced type. I think Ryu is more into the balanced type scenario, so where he has pretty much offense and defense. While we have Ken, like you would think that because he's kind of like Ryu's rival, he would be balanced, but no, he's not. He's actually more aggro aggressive, right? Which is really strong. Cammy, also another aggro aggressive character where she's able to just keep the offense going, control the air game, which is really strong in this game because jumping in this game is super strong. And now we have like defense, right? Defense for Guile, right? Guile where he's supposed to keep you out, supposed to catch you frustrated. Anytime you fight a Guile, you're gonna know you have to take sonic booms in the face, right? You're gonna get anti-air. But Guile is a protector of skies when it comes down to stuff like that, where you can't really get in against him a lot, which makes him really strong, right? But you have to play it perfect. Poison is a really like poke zoning character where she controls like literally maybe like 3/4 of the screen with her whip, right? There's characters like that, right? It's like obviously Dawson is another character that has that opportunity, but Poison is one of the also characters that can also just control that range. So you're gonna really rely on jumping for that when you counter against that. And Sagat, another zoning character, right? Sagat's another zoning character. He's not as aggressive compared to his previous games, but because in this one they really made him more of a zoning. Think of him as Guile, but with motions, because he's a motion character, right? Close circle forward punch. While Guile is a charge character where you have to hold back 2 seconds and press forward punch. And then you have Abigail, who is a grappler. Grapplers are another character, another different archetype where you really have to worry about, because grapplers are an archetype where once they get in, you should lose. Theoretically, you should lose the rest of the round, right? Because they're going to keep on you. They're, after every offensive attempt, successful offensive attempt, it's their turn again, and they keep putting you in the same loop over and over again, right? And Zangief, classic grappler, the first pretty much grappler of Street Fighter franchise, I'm assuming. And he pretty much does the same thing. One, just EX SPD, EX spinning power driver, right? One of those EX moves, pretty much it pretty much might be the game. Like, he has bad matchups, but if he lands an EX SPD, that's it. It's the same match for everyone. And then we have hybrid grapplers. Hybrid grapplers are grapplers that are really fast, but also are command characters at the same time. So we have evolved from grapplers to hybrid grapplers, which are like Mika and Laura. And those two characters really, I mean, they're really fast. You have to really open your eyes and react accordingly, because if you don't, they will steamroll you so hard, right? Steamroll you so hard. And then you have F.A.N.G. F.A.N.G is more of a setup character, right? A setup archetype, where he wants to set up like different like opportunities, different special moves to keep the offense going. It's really tricky. I would say setup characters are probably one of the hardest characters to learn in this game. So F.A.N.G and Ibuki, very strong like setup characters, but they require a lot of like studying, a lot of practice and training mode, a lot of like creating your own different setups to keep your offense going, to build the stun up, to keep all that type of like insane pressure going, right? So like so the usage of using like different V skills, different V triggers, knowing like how specifically this like move will hit accordingly, which will keep your offense going, it's something that you're gonna have to practice a lot. What also is nice is that there's obviously a lot of reference videos for those type of characters on on YouTube and every other platform, so it's nice to have, right? I would say Urien is probably the strongest setup character, because his setup comes from his V trigger, and his V trigger is super explosive. The Aegis Reflector really does help a lot, right? He really does help a lot. And also, like, he's also really good in terms of like the ground game. The ground game where he gets to poke, he gets to control all the space, he has a lot of advancing normals. So I would say Urien is the most like polished setup character, because he doesn't really need to rely on setups. Think of it as setup as his comeback factor, and it's something that you're gonna have to deal with every round. That's the most annoying part, every round, right? And then we have G. G is another, I would say, he's tough. To be honest, he's really tough. He's also another character that really is a momentum character, right? I would say he's a momentum archetype. This is probably a new archetype that I just created. Momentum archetype, where it's once he gets the momentum going, you might not get a chance to play, and that's kind of where I put G at, right? G is a new character in Street Fighter 5, and he's a command grab. He has command grabs. He has fireballs. He has great anti-airs. Like he has everything, right? He's literally a momentum character. And the last character that also Street Fighter 5 has brought in is Ed and Falk, right? And these characters are pretty much I would consider them as button archetypes, where they don't rely on motion. They don't have any motion in terms of their special moves at all, right? All their special moves come from like using like 2 kicks, 2 punches. They try to make it where it's like more people can like, if you have bad execution with the joystick, right? You use those characters, and it's pretty nice, right? So they're pretty fun as well too. So those are different characters that you want to look at. But if I had to think about it, I would put them as like either under probably in the branch of a setup character, because Ed is really good for setups, and Falk is also really good with setups with her V skills and V triggers. And this is the archetype. This is my thought process and archetype. Hope you guys learn a lot. And then we're gonna go with the one more video in the next one, and that's gonna be pretty much casual to pro level. We made it. Thank you for watching.